Welcome back to our Hatters Walk. It is the biggest game of Luton Town's season this Friday at Pride Park. Up the Luton says we have to win against Derby to stand a chance. It is now all on Friday. We are, of course, talking about that surprising defeat to Blackburn with Lewis, Kevin, Dan, and Sam. Thank you very much for joining us. Lewis, where do you now stand on your club? Are you preparing for Bradford away?
Yeah. We just can't score, and I feel sorry for Matt Bloomfield because every home game he's had, these players, he's setting us up correctly and we're getting into the right areas, but we're lacking so much quality and we're not going to score goals. And that's the problem. Against Blackburn, so many chances. We're just wasting it. The cross isn't good enough. The pass isn't good enough. So I feel sorry for him because he's doing what he needs to do right as the manager, but the players are just not doing it. And yes, I think this is going to continue.
There's so many teams of other sort of fans of other teams, Kevin, when we talk to them, say they just don't understand what's gone on at Luton this season. When you talk about, Premier League coming up and coming down, where do you put the blame squarely this season? Is it on the board? Is it on the players? Is it on not getting rid of Edwards quick enough? What do you see as a fundamental when the inquest starts?
I think we've spoken about this countless times already. I think everyone needs to take a bit of the blame. Lewis was 100% correct. We dominated on the field again this weekend. We've been dominating quite a lot. But the players are the ones who need to put the ball in the back of the net. The forwards need to do it. We can't keep blaming the manager. We can't keep blaming the boards. If we are dominating possession, if we're dominating the shots, the players do need to take accountability. I think they've just lost a bit of concentration. They've lost a little bit of that self-belief, and we're lacking a bit of that energy that we had in the last two seasons, and that self-confidence. It's just a roll-on effect, and it's so difficult to get out of it. But I don't think it helps to point fingers. We're all in this together. We're all going to blame each other, but we've got 4 games to turn this around. Someone needs to turn it around. Only the players can do it, I guess.
The gap isn't that big, Kevin. Why is it that all I'm reading is things like the tweets here, pathetic. We're absolutely effed. It's all on the board. Max says we deserve to get relegated. Seeing a lot of that as well. We're absolutely pathetic. Why when the gap is so small and you've got teams like Derby and Cardiff to play, why are we seeing this kind of shrug of the shoulders and it's done?
I think it's because the last couple of seasons, or the last 4 or 5 seasons, we've used to seeing the team play with so much heart. Even if we went down, we played with so much heart. You saw the players leave it out all on the field, game after game. We tried to win the games 1-0 away, but that 1-0, we defended our goal with all the passion. We just don't see that this last year. We don't see them putting in the effort, and I'm sure they are. But we're used to more quality, and if we don't have the quality, we have heart. At this point, the heart doesn't seem to be there, nor the quality, and I think that's why people are a bit dejected.
Okay. Sam, where do you stand on all this? Have you, I mean, you've been in the position where you were positive and then you've given up and then you were positive again. Where are you now?
I'm just in acceptance that we're going down. I think we deserve to, unfortunately. And I think a lot of the blame should be on the recruitment. I just think they haven't brought enough good players in. I mean, there's a lot of things wrong, and yeah, I don't think we've brought enough players in. I don't think we've brought good enough players in. Like, for example, they've spent 3 million on Nordas, who might be a good player in the future, but it's clearly not ready now. 5 million on Fan, who is the exact same, not ready now, and they're spunking money on not great players who aren't available to make an impact.
Okay. This is from Luton. Unfortunately, those of you suggesting the real Luton had returned in the past few games, Dan, got it wrong. We saw the real Luton today. I didn't watch the game. You guys did. Dan, for you, does it look like the players still care?
I'm sure they care. I don't think any player goes out there not caring. I just don't know whether they're as into it as we are. I think that's a problem. I don't think it was one to try, and I do think one or two of them were pedestrian. For instance, Josh Bowler spent so long sat on the bench. It feels like when he got his half an hour, shows what he could do. He may as well have been sat next to me because he was completely ineffective. And it was nice of Bloomfield to do that actually, because Blackburn had just had a player sent off, so he levelled it up a bit. But he just didn't seem to know what he was supposed to be doing. I mean, he doesn't play very often, and I just think it's too much of that. I think some of them are a bit rusty. Some of them is just so used to losing games that it's psychologically murdered them in their heads, and I just don't think they can pull it round. Yes, we've had a few good results, obviously, just lately, and we all thought we'd show up and beat Blackburn, and they've told us elsewhere otherwise. So I just think the players look beat in most games anyway, and this has been the case all season, really. I think it's just been... They do care, it's just the case of they're not quite good enough to get out of it, as Sam said. It just haven't been good enough.
Okay. I mean, I watched that Leeds game though a couple of weeks ago, and I thought you looked all right. Defensively, as you guys have said for weeks and weeks, we are defensively sharp now. We're not conceding many goals. We don't give too many chances away, and you're probably one of the better sides defensively down there at the moment. But as this tweet says, Lewis, I mean, this is the more polite ones of these that I found. Right. It's the other end, isn't it? Never play Morris ever again. I mean, we can't keep going back over the same things here, but do you understand fans' anger? I mean, it is now getting to that point of anger, isn't it, with people not putting the ball in the back of the net?
Yeah, you look at Elijah. If he took half of these big chances, I don't think we're in this position. Morris, on multiple occasions this season, has gone through games not having a shot on target. At the moment, right now, he's gone 3 games without having a shot on target, and he's our top goal scorer. So there you go. There's the problem. And then you look at the substitutions coming on to try and have an impact. Zach Nelson, I know he's a young lad. He didn't even touch the ball against Blackburn, and he played for 15 minutes. Chong was on the pitch, touched the ball 12 times. These are meant to be attacking players for us. How on earth are we going to score goals with these players on the pitch? It's not possible. So unfortunately, that is going to be the reason why we go down.
We'll try and keep this chirpy as best we can. Let's have a look at the four remaining games then. Now everyone is putting it on this Friday. Let's go through them. So Kevin, Derby at home are pretty decent, but they do concede, especially from set pieces, as we saw against Portsmouth the other day, and long balls. The Portsmouth equaliser, if you've seen it, was a long punt forward. So there's an opportunity. There's certainly opportunity here. Bristol City away from home aren't as good as they are at home. That could be a point. Coventry might be done and dusted by then, you could hope, and certainly West Brom I think will be done and dusted by then as well. So I'm trying to be optimistic, but are you looking at those 4 fixtures going, we've probably got the toughest run of anyone down there?
Mark, they are tough, but at the end of the day, this is the championship. We saw over the weekend, anything can happen. Anyone can beat anyone at any time. I've still got hope. If we do go out there and we beat Derby, we have a great chance. Remember, Coventry, Bristol City, they'll be panicking. It's difficult to be in those playoff spots as well. People tighten up. And Luton might give it a good bash. I don't believe it's all doom and gloom. We've known, and we might be pessimistic today and downhearted, but we know when Luton's off, their backs are against the wall. That's when we fight. 4 matches, 12 points, 3 victories, and we're right up there. I know Lewis has lost hope, but I think he's going to turn it around. 2 victories, Derby, and we keep saying it, but it has to happen. So 12 points are a lot of points. Things happen, and maybe it's the right time to play Bristol City and Coventry. It's not easy up there juggling for points, and that race hasn't finished either. So they'll be panicking. They won't have freedom around the pitch.
Yeah, and of course on Monday there's a big game as Derby and Cardiff, isn't it? So there's all teams that are playing each other around there as well. So not everybody in your position is going to pick up maximum points. But beating Derby, Sam, is an absolute must, isn't it?
Yeah, I think if we lose that, we're virtually down. So we've got to win that.
Okay, a draw isn't
fine
good
if we
either.
draw, as long as we win the next 3 games, which we're clearly not going to do.
Right. Okay. But yeah, no, a draw isn't good enough, Dan. Does that help the players somewhat when you player that even a 0-0 or 1-1 is not going to be good enough? Sorry, Dan. Did you?
No, I didn't hear. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Does it help the players knowing on the pitch that even a draw is not going to be good enough? It's almost like a cup final, isn't it?
Well, I've been saying it for a few weeks. I think when we went into the last 8 games, as far as I was concerned, it's an 8-game mini season, and they're all finals, and you've got to play like your life depends on it. And right, what you're saying, when we played Leeds, thought we played very well against Blackburn. We were polar opposite. We were okay, but we weren't great, and we never looked like scoring. As Lewis said, we just can't score. Again, it's just I can't really dress it up any more than that.
I'll try.
So,
I maybe it's because I don't watch all of the games like you guys do, but I can't believe that you are in the bottom 3 worst teams in this division. There are definitely teams with worse players, with worse managers, with worse finances, that are worse run clubs than you guys. And I think that's what's shocking the footballing world, to see an ex-Premier League side who've got parachute payments being this bad. And that can't be on managers. It can't be on the board either. It's some more accountability has got to be given to the players here, Lewis.
Yeah, I'm blaming the players more than anything. Of course, the board made a couple of mistakes. I do think they should have got Rob Edwards, should have got rid of him a lot sooner. I also think the summer should have been a lot better. So those are the 2 mistakes which the board made. But before a ball was kicked, these group of players were more than capable of staying up in the Championship, and they're letting us all down. I don't know if they're just showing their true colours this season. I don't know if it is a losing mentality, but we've got proven Championship players. You can go through our squad. We've got more experience than a lot of teams around us in the Championship, but they're not acting like it. There's lack of leaders, in my opinion. With just not enough leaders on the pitch that can get us through games. So, and unfortunately, Matt Bloomfield, I think he's going to get relegation on his CV because he's struggling to change this around.
Yeah. There was a tweet I saw that said, look, essentially Burnley refreshed their squad in August. Sheffield United essentially refreshed their striking options and their back line and their goalkeeper. So essentially they moved on, and this is where you guys didn't. Essentially, you've still got lots of the remnants of the same team that kind of was there in the Premier League, and it's hard as a footballer, isn't it? Some of you have played at a good level. I know when you've been relegated and you're playing in a different division, and when you've been playing against the very top, it's very difficult sometimes to raise your own personal motivation levels to get back up there. So, look, we all hope, even as a neutral, even a Watford fan earlier said they don't want you to go down. Because they want that fixture, which I know, crazy. Right, let's get your player of the season nominations.
None of them, move on.
As a nice segue. Nice segue into this. Right, can you find a player? I mean, God knows who the club are going to give it to. Let's see if you can pick one out. Kevin, can you kick this off for us? Who does deserve some flowers?
I think my personal choice for the whole season through consistency is Jordan Clark. He's the only one that's looked a little bit dangerous on the ball. He's obviously scored vital goals at the important times, including that screamer against Cardiff. We were looking bad against Cardiff, and he pulled off that screamer, which won us the game. Jordan Clark has been excellent both on attack and defence. He's had his critics, like everyone else, but he's probably been the most consistent player. Looked dangerous, slaloming through other players. He'd be my pick of the year so long. There isn't much to choose from, unfortunately, but out of all of them. it would be Clark.
Fair dues. Sam.
Yeah, exactly the same for me. I'd go with Clark. He's on 5 goals. He's come up with some really crucial goals in big moments, and he's got a bit of a tough job in that midfield. But I think he's tried his best and tried to drag us a bit further up table. But yeah, it would be him. It's quite a tough choice. Well, there's not really any other players have stood out, but he would be the best of a bad bunch.
Dan?
Clark. Yeah, exactly what the lads have said. Yeah, he's just Mr. Consistent. We've had him for nearly 5 years. We know what we're getting with him. He cares. He puts shift in, and he never lets us down. Yeah.
And Lewis finishes off.
Yeah, we had this conversation in the car on the way to Blackburn, and I said Clark. It's his best ever season in terms of in front of goal, in terms of goal contributions. So I think with that and how bad we've been in front of goal, you kind of have to give it to someone like him. Yes, he's had a couple of bad games, but let's be honest, who hasn't in this team? So yeah, I have to give it to Clark.
Okay, that's a full sweep then. Our final question this week is you as Luton fans picking the Championship player of the season based on 2 rules. One, you're not allowed to pick a Luton Town player. No, you would.
No problem with that.
And secondly, it needs to be the player that when they've played against you, you've been most impressed with, not the one that you sit on Twitter and read lots about. So when you've watched all the games, I think all of you've been to certainly all the home games, and probably most of you have been to all the away games as well. Who have you nudged a mate and gone, wow, they're pretty good, or they've had a stellar show against you? I know it's most players that you can the opposition. Dan, kick this one off for us.
Oh no, I don't know. Honestly, don't know. My memory is absolutely terrible.
Okay.
Well, yeah, everyone not wearing a Luton shirt's impressed me.
Yeah,
doing well.
I'm gonna go with Saki, I think, for Sheffield United. He's a player. Well, apparently there's a big loan fee, but he's a Premier League loan player that someone like him, maybe not the loan fee, we should have brought in. And I remember away at Sheffield United, he was for some reason we were playing Walters at left back, and he just absolutely rinsed him the whole game. And I remember thinking, I wish we had someone like that. So yeah, Saki, Sheffield United.
Okay, Kevin.
I was lucky enough to be at Carrow Road to when we played against Norwich. Borgo's Saints, I think, was brilliant. His pace, he's already scored 17 goals. He wasn't as good at our home, but definitely at the end of last year, he was great. His pace, his consistency, he's always in the box, making important passes. Definitely brings the X factor.
Okay, and Lewis.
I've got 2. The Sunderland right back. Is it Trey Hume? I don't know if I've said his name.
That's right, yeah.
He set up one of the goals against us. Not surprising. But overall, his performances, I think, have been quite good every time I've watched Sunderland play. And also, I don't like saying his name, but Jimmy Dunn, who plays for QPR, the wind-up merchant, he reminds me a bit what Tom Lockyer did for us, basically. And I think he's been brilliant. Both times against Luton, he's been really, really good. And he gives it, he's one of those players where you hate playing against, but you love him having him on your team type of thing. So I would say those 2 players for me.
All right. Great shouts. Thank you, all of you. Right. We'll be watching because it's live at 12:30, I think, on Sky on Friday. So we'll be sitting with my hot cross bun. Fingers crossed for you. And then we'll see you back here in 7 days' time to review that game. And of course, the Good Monday game, the Easter Monday game as well. This can't happen. We've got everything crossed for you. Good luck. Have a good Easter weekend. See you in 7.